It is WrestleMania here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including WWE has just changed everything, the real reason why Stephanie Vaquer lost the title, Vince is now screwed, a former WWE star is furious with WWE, the WWE going to war with AEW, Vince McMahon wants WWE back, positive news on Jim Ross, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new videos on WrestleMania XL. Now let's do the intro and get straight into our first story. Now first story looks at WWE just changed everything. Now our top story today takes a look at two major title changes from last night's episode of NXT. Last night's NXT resulted in one of the most shocking episodes of TV in recent memory. Not one, but two title changes went down on the show. The first saw Ethan Page capture the NXT North American title by defeating Ricky Saints. The second, in one of the most surprising match finishes of the year, saw JC Jane defeat Stephanie Vaquer to become NXT Women's Champion. The crowd were utterly stunned at these victories, especially the latter. There were virtually zero rumors of both names dropping the titles, and when it came to Vaquer, it looked like WWE were focusing on revolving the brand around her, but evidently they've changed their minds in a big way. But what was the real reason behind Stephanie Vaquer losing the championship? Now, in the wake of the two significant NXT title changes last night, it's now been reported by various sources that WWE will now be moving Stephanie Vaquer over to the Raw brand. Yeah, she's getting a call-up. Vaquer has made numerous appearances on the Red brand, and evidently WWE believe that the talented star being on NXT is the right fit. Whilst this makes sense, as Vaquer is one of the most gifted women's wrestlers in the world, NXT is in need of star power, especially if they're going to continue the tour around the US for major events. But there's not one, but two call-ups, and the second one being Jordynne Grace, who according to Corey Hayes on X, will be debuting on the SmackDown brand. Grace's run in NXT has been short and sweet, and she's a name that is destined for great things on the main roster. Grace has size and stature, and she has the ability to work with just about anyone. It does come as a surprise that WWE aren't willing until the WWE draft to make these call-ups official. However, with Evolution fast approaching, it's possible that WWE wants all their big hitters on the main roster in the hopes of making the event a huge success. Mariah May is also an interesting factor in this, as there are rumors that the former AEW Women's Champion is WWE bound, and whilst these initial rumors stated that she would debut on the main roster, it's possible that WWE books her to become the new face of NXT. Is it possible that May has indeed put pen to paper on a WWE deal and she's agreed to start in NXT? This would certainly explain why WWE have rushed through the Vaquer and Grace call-ups. A lot of fans were pushing for the idea of May to debut at Evolution, and this is indeed still possible, yet it's unclear how NXT will be presented at the event, especially with them having their own unique show that weekend. Next up is Ricky Saints joining the main roster. Since Ricky Saints dropped his NXT North American title last night, there's now rampant speculation on X that Saints is main roster bound. Saints is close friends with Cody Rhodes, and fans are theorizing that Rhodes may have pulled some strings to get Saints called up. Additionally, in NXT, when a wrestler drops a title, it's usually a big sign that they have received a nod for a call-up. Fans have been fantasy booking the idea of Saints joining Seth Rollins' faction, so this is interesting timing, and Saints seems like a natural fit for the villainous ensemble. Next up, Vince is royally screwed. Now, there has been a major development in the Janelle Grant lawsuit, as according to Brandon Thurston over on X, John Laurinaitis has been dropped as a defendant in the case due to him providing evidence as part of a confidential settlement. New, John Laurinaitis has been dropped as a defendant in the Janelle Grant lawsuit against WWE and Vince McMahon. Grant's representatives say in the statement to Post Wrestling that Laurinaitis has agreed to provide her with evidence as part of a confidential settlement. Subsequently, Grant's legal team and Laurinaitis released a joint statement which read, John Laurinaitis has agreed to cooperate and provide evidence in Janelle Grant's lawsuit against Vince McMahon and WWE. His agreement to a confidential statement is a pivotal next step toward holding McMahon and WWE accountable and bringing justice to Ms. Grant after years of sexual abuse and trafficking. Mr. Laurinaitis looks forward to moving on with his life. We cannot provide any additional details at this time. Next up, an injured WWE star has surgery. The WWE star Zoe Stark took to Instagram stories yesterday to announce her medical status. It appears that Stark has now undergone surgery on her knee, and she captioned the photo by stating, "Road to recovery starts now." It's not been disclosed how long Stark will be out of action for, however knee injuries can be rather serious, so it's expected that Stark will be on the shelf for a considerable amount of time. Next up, a WWE name shoots on the product. Now, Bully Ray is a key part of the WWE product currently, and he's heavily involved with WWE's LFG series. Despite Ray being a central figure on one of WWE's shows, this hasn't stopped the WWE Hall of Famer from going in on the product during the latest edition of Busted Open Radio. According to Ray, the WWE product feels too pretty, and he calls out the WWE for overproducing the show. This product feels too pretty to me. This product is too slicked. This product is too produced. This product is almost too perfect. Everything is exactly where it should be. There's no loosey-goosey to it. There's no Wild West feel, you know? I love classy with a little bit of trashy. What I have right now is a very classy WWE product. Everything is perfect. I don't mean perfect in terms of storylines, but you get it. The way it's shot, the transitions, you know, would then address the use of celebrities on the current product. One of the things they're doing throughout the course of the show is incorporating all of these other stars. Oh, this person has a Netflix special, and look who showed up on the show today. And then they had those two guys backstage. You know what? That's fine. But show me Tony Atlas in the crowd. Tony Atlas just came to mind, a former wrestler in the crowd. Ray would finish by saying that the WWE product is still clearly thriving, but these are criticisms that are often shared by fans, so it's incredibly interesting that he has actually spoken up about this. He makes a compelling point. Currently, the reception to the product is the most negative it's been since the TKO inception, yet the shows continue to sell out. The reactions on social media clearly aren't translating to the live crowds, and if this was the case, WWE would be struggling to shift tickets for main roster programming. Next up, WWE going to war with AEW. WWE recently announced a blockbuster weekend in July that will go head-to-head with AEW All in Texas. Now, this isn't to be the only time this year that WWE counter-programs AEW, as according to Brian Alvarez on the Wrestling Observer Radio, there are two other instances where WWE plans to offer. Next up, a former WWE star furious with WWE. Now, it appears that TNA decided to have a non-contracted TNA talent as their world champion has really upset Nick Nemeth. Speaking exclusively with Cultaholic ahead of TNA Against All Odds, Nemeth, who wrestled in WWE as Dolph Ziggler, expressed his anger at the situation. I'm really pissed off that someone from TNA lost our world title to someone who doesn't work for us. If we're going to applaud him for doing everything he's done and his grassroots following and have everyone cheer for him and coming through and even beating me at one point, I said the next day on Impact, hey man, you beat me and you deserve applause for that. And he's brought a lot of eyes to TNA, but if we're going to call out the good things, it's only fair that we call out the bad. Ziggler would even add that TNA should bring back wrestlers caught due to a TNA wrestler losing the title. I don't think he should be represented as world champion for TNA, because no matter how much good he's done, he's lost our title to someone who doesn't work for us. I think we might have to bring back wrestling court or have someone pull him aside at work next week, and we might have to call a team meeting, and I mean that in all seriousness. What a cool thing that all these different companies are working together. I think that's great for the wrestling fans, I think that's great for us, I think that's great for WWE, NXT, AAA, everybody, you name it. But if we're going to call out the good things, call out the bad. A TNA guy lost the world title to somebody else. Ziggler's comments are clearly a mix of kayfabe and reality, and the TNA locker room revolting against the WWE invasion would be a great storyline that could draw more eyes to their product. Next up, positive news on Jim Ross. And there's thankfully a positive update when it comes to legendary commentator Jim Ross. According to Conrad Thompson, JR's surgery went well and the doctors hope to have successfully removed the cancer from his colon. That this is wonderful news, and hopefully the Hall of Famer is slowly but surely on the mend. We extend our best wishes to JR, and we, along with millions of fans across the globe, wish him a very speedy recovery. And finally, Vince McMahon wants WWE back. Now, final story today takes a look at the sheer possibility of Vince McMahon buying back WWE. Last week, Jonathan Coachman was heavily criticized for claiming that McMahon would buy back WWE from TKO. However, on his latest podcast, Coachman has since doubled down on his belief, and he stated that it's true that McMahon wants WWE back. I mentioned on Twitter, and I've been, by the way, going viral. You've probably seen I've been quoted everywhere when I talked about Vince rebuying. I've been quoted everywhere, and the one thing I've yet to be wrong about anything. And so now all of a sudden I'm getting all of these websites because I have educated views and I also have people that are tipping me off. Now, do I know 100% he's going to buy? I know he wants to. And this would be truly insane. However, with this being pro wrestling, we can never truly rule anything out. With that being said, it does seem unlikely as TKO seems incredibly happy with how WWE is running as a business. If McMahon ever did offer to buy back the company, then this would send WWE into a tailspin. McMahon still has a lot of issues to settle in his personal life, and the reaction from talent, sponsors and partners if it was formally announced that McMahon would be back would be earth-shattering. But there you have it, folks, the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below. I'll see you next time with some more wrestling.